You know what I'm tripping on, man? I'm tripping on how connected I am to the 80s, man. The 80s music, man. I'm tripping on how connected I am to 80s soft rock in particular. I said rocked. Soft rock, you know? I have a people that know me, they know I have a weird obsession with 80s soft rock, man. And here's why. Tripping. Tripping with Theo Bowl.
Come on, Dre.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Tripping with Theo Bold. I'm your host, Andre Theo Bold, and welcome to the show. As you guys know, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so make sure you follow me. Boom. I'm gonna get the hang of this pointing thing one day or another, but not today. Um, yeah, man. So you know what I'm tripping on, man? I'm tripping on how connected I am to the 80s, man. The 80s music, man. I'm tripping on how connected I am to 80s soft rock in particular. I said rocked. Soft rock, you know? I have a people that know me, they know I have a weird obsession with 80s soft rock, man. And here's why, you know. Matter of fact, I'm going, man. I'm gonna turn my hat around, man. Someone said in the comments, man, that I look like Tommy Sotomayor. You know, some of y'all might know him. That's not me. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's not who I am. Totally different. I think totally different. I don't know why I went off on a tangent. That was kind of weird. But anyways, 80s soft rock, man. So I have a weird connection with 80s soft rock music, man, because that's the music that always came on when I was homesick, you know? Like it's crazy, man, but like I haven't felt homesick since like the age of 13, you know? Um and really it's like, time is like an illusion, time is an illusion, like it's constant, but at different stages of life, it seems like it's moving faster, right? So when you're younger, it feels like time is slow, but when you get older, it feels like there's not enough time at all, you know? Um, but so I hate to be one of these guys, right? I hate to be the man back in my day, back in my day, like, but back in my day, man, we didn't have the luxury of having an iPod to select music. You know what I'm saying? You had to fast forward the tape to get to the song that you wanted, and it would suck you know, if you were on side A and you liked the first song and the seventh song or whatever, and you had to then fast forward to get to that song. Like there was no instantaneous hopping to no song that you wanted to hop to, you know? And then on the radio, man, really all you had was the radio. And if you were a luxury was having a tape recorder or like a Walkman, that was a luxury, right? Like this is like before CD players, right? Like you couldn't skip to nothing, you had to fast forward through that bitch, you know? But man, 80s rock, man, was just like, it was like that cherry on top, man. You know, it was like when I was younger, like I was getting dropped off here, dropped off there, camp, away from home for multiple weeks, months, um, and then you get homesick because you got too much time on your hands. Time is slow, you know, and then the radio's on, and when the radio's on, you hear them slow ballads, those depressing 80s songs, man, and they would just pull the tears out, man. They would just pull the tears out of your face, man. Like y'all remember, I mean, this is gonna sound weird, but you know, I would get so homesick that the back of my throat would ache. Pause. I know what y'all thinking, but nah, it's like, I don't know what that phenomenon or what that metaphysical or whatever that shit is called, but like the back of my throat would just ache because I was so homesick. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, so it was like when the back of your throat start aching, And then the 80s ballads or the 80s slow rock jams would come on, man. Tears would just be pouring out of my face, man. You know, be just pouring out of my face, you know? So it's like I literally cried the homesick out of me. You know, 80s rock made me cry the homesick out of me, you know? Um, so I have, like I said, I have a weird connection with the 80s or with 80s rock, man. And not only that, it's like, no, it's weird is I miss the feeling of being homesick, you know? So I guess when I listen to 80s rock music, it's like I'm trying to relive being homesick, but I can't create the feeling, you know, because that feeling is gone, you know? Um, man, like what songs used to make me like, you know what song used to make me, songs I would hear when I was homesick is it always be like, Crowded House, Hey Now, Don't Dream It's Over. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now. To this day, I don't know what the song is about, you know, but every time I heard it, man, it just sounded like you were supposed to cry when that joint came on, man. You were supposed to long for something, you know. What other homesick songs, man, from the 80s, man? Uh Drive by the Cars, you know. Um that's a homesick song, man. Like those are all I'm gonna create a playlist now called just homesick songs. You know? 'Cause that's like 90% of 80s rock was like homesick music, man. Like I could be man, like I could be at Camp Blue Ridge, got dropped off. I got a whole month ahead of myself at camp while I'm away from home. Don't know nobody, don't know no friends. And someone just cuts the radio on, man. And you hear, Take On Me. Take On Me is more of an upbeat. It's more of an upbeat. Um, it's an upbeat homesick song, but it's still a homesick song. You know. Um, what else, man? Like Phil Collins, man. In Too Deep, man. Taking me back, man. Taking me back down memory lane. But nah, I used to get homesick, man. Like not a lot. It was weird. Like I remember when my mom and dad dropped me off in Buffalo for the summer with my grandma. Like I remember it was weird. I remember I'd be at Julia Brown Montessori school. I'm looking forward to the whole summer being at home and nigga, they pull up with the Peugeot because my folks love them Peugeot cars, man. They pull up with the Peugeot packed. They wouldn't even let me get home. My whole shit would be all packed up, packed to the brim. You couldn't even look out the back rear view mirror of the joint because the shit was so packed up. You know, car was packed, and they would come pick my ass up, and I didn't even get to go home. We just would drive straight from school to Buffalo. And then I'm thinking, okay, it's a family vacation. We gonna be up here for a couple weeks, and then we all gonna go back at the same time. And then I noticed I'd be in the backseat of my car, and it'd only be my shit in the fucking car. It would only be my shit in the car. That's what was funny. That was cold. Like we get to my grandma's house, and we unpack the suitcase or bring the suitcases out the car, and nigga, all the suitcases be in my room. I look at my mom and dad. I'm like, yo, where y'all shit at? They be like, oh, we leaving tomorrow. I'm like, huh? How long am I staying for? I don't know. Just have fun. So I remember they would get up and drive, and I used to do this thing where I would like run after the car. You know, I would run down Stevens Avenue running after the car, and my dad would kind of let the car kind of slow up and then speed up, and I'll try to catch up. I'll try to catch up with the car, and then what's that street? Um, oh man, what's that street? Is it Skajakua? Then they make a right or whatever, and they would run down that street. I'd be running after the car still. And then finally my dad would just gas it and he honked the horn and be like, man, go back home, man. What the fuck are you doing? I could hear him kind of shouting in the car, and I'd be running, and I'd be running fast, and my dad would just take off, and boom, I watch the car, watch the Peugeot just drive off, man. Sunset coming down. Then I gotta walk back to my grandma's house, walk back down Stevens, man. Nigga, no internet. Like back then, there was no internet, no cell phone, no iTunes, no Cartoon Network, none of that shit. None of that shit, man. So I had to walk back home, and I don't know when they coming back to get me, you know? It could be 1 month, 2 months. It could be the whole summer. I don't know. Then you come back home, and I'm watching the sunset, and then, man, cut the TV on, man. It'd be Madonna's Who's That Girl? Who's that girl? On HBO. Who's that girl? That shit, that was a bad fucking movie. I rewatched that movie, man. That shit was terrible, yo. Like Madonna was coked up during that movie, man. Allegedly. But I remember hearing that song, and it was kind of like, those kind of songs were like, when the 80's, man, when them songs came out, man, them joints add to the homesickness, man. They pull the homesickness out of you, pull the tears out of you, And I swear they played Who's That Girl like 20 times a day on HBO, man. Like that's all they would play, man. You hear that shit, Then my Uncle Sammy, man, he would have all the new fighting movies and shit, on tape. And we had to wait till nighttime because during the daytime we had to do chores and shit, and clean or go to the boys club. And then at night, Uncle Sammy would have, like American Ninja, all the Van Damme movies, all the Steven Seagal movies, man. And we'd be up there watching them joints. And then boom, they got the 80's slow jam cuts in there, man. They got the 80's rock cuts in there, man. And you homesick. I don't know what it is, but every time I see the sunset when I was homesick, man, just 80's music would just come on, all the slow shit, and just pull the tears out, man. But man, it's a weird feeling. I can't explain the feeling, man. It's like I'm homesick about being homesick, right? Like I wish I could feel homesick again, but I just don't. You know what I mean? Like, because we're all connected, and I'm older and I have resources. And if I really wanted to, I could hop on a flight and go where I wanted to go. But just being dropped off, knowing that you can't go nowhere. You know what? Like, I think the only way I would be homesick, man, is if I went to Mars, cause I looked into, I didn't look into going to Mars. I just was reading about the shit. Like, I wouldn't want to do that shit, but like going to Mars, man, they would say it would take a long ass time to get there, like almost a lifetime. And then if you got dropped off at Mars, nigga, that's it. Like you're not coming back, unless you can figure out how to build a spaceship to get back. But I forgot how long they said it would take to get to Mars, but it was like a long, like it's like, yeah, it's like if you go and come back, shit, nigga, life over, But like, if that were the case and they had 80's rock music and I knew I couldn't get back, man, that would probably make me relive like them homesick moments, man. But I remember last time I got homesick, I was at Camp Blue Ridge. Like I wanted to, like I wanted to go to camp for like 4 weeks. Like I remember I wanted to go to camp because the year before I went for like 3 weeks, and the year before that I went for 2 weeks, and I was like, nah, I want to go for a whole month, man. It's gonna be fun, man. I want to go to Camp Blue Ridge, man, for a month. And I did the first thing we did was the bike outpost, and we all had our bikes, and we basically would ride on this trail, and then a Jeep would drive past us and then drop off our stuff at the campsite. That we had to pitch our tents, and then we had to like get meals ready and stuff, and then we go to bed, get up. We had to pack everything up so the Jeep would come back out, pick up our shit, and then drive to the next spot, right? And I did that shit for like 2 days, nigga, and I was reflecting on life. I was reflecting on life, man. And it was weird because it was just a bunch of like dudes. It was like young dudes. It was all males on the joint, you know. Um, and it was weird. It was just quiet. Like we just rode bikes. Like we go a whole day without speaking, yo, and then pitch our tent, sleeping bag, get up the next morning, or we make dinner, eat, no internet, no phone, like no food, no magazine. You know what I should have did? I should have brought a book. That's what I should have done, man. If I would have brought a book on that bike outpost, I would have probably like I think I probably would have gotten more into reading, you know. But that's neither here nor there. On day two, when I'm riding on this bike, like I'm riding this bike, man, on day two, I just started thinking about home, yo. And there wasn't even any like 80s music, yo. Like it was just I started just sobbing. Just I'm like riding my bike crying, yo. Like I want to go home. And then I remember the counselor, his name was Chet. Chet was like, he told the dude that was dropping off the stuff at our campsite, he was like, yeah, Drake not gonna make it. Yeah, just yeah, he gotta go back with you. And then I remember the next day, the dude that drove the Jeep to drop everything off, he drove me back to the campsite or back to the main headquarters or whatever. And that's where I ran into Nurse K and Philip Prinz. So I was in the nurse's station, and that's when she broke down, you know, like homesickness or whatever, and like what it is and how to overcome it, you know. And she was always like, you know, man, Nurse K, man, shout out to Nurse K, man. But man, she had like I stayed in like the sick quarters or whatever. Then Nurse K had her own room, and then Phil had his room in the back. You know, Phil was her son. You know, R.I.P. Phil. You know, and man, I remember she had all this like all this like Pepsi. Like she had like 2 liter bottles of Pepsi and like puzzles, you know. And she was like, hey, you know, when you get homesick, you know, here's how you got to deal with it. You know, you got to stay busy, right? You got to stay busy, you know. And I remember she was always like, you know, she said, so here's a puzzle, and she gave me this big ass jigsaw puzzle, and I'm drinking Pepsi, putting together puzzles and shit just to keep my mind off of being homesick, you know. Um, and she was like, yeah, anytime, you know, you know, you get homesick, you know, you got to have this. She had this whole thing where you got to have this box, and you take this bad thought, or you take however you're feeling, and you put it in the box, and you lock it away, and just keep busy and just stay focused, you know. And after that, like I never got homesick again, man. You know, but I think it had more to do with just, you know, time and just my concept of time and how, you know, how much time I had on my hands, you know. So yeah, like I said, I got a weird connection with 80s rock music, man. Like I'm not a fan of 80s rock music by choice. Like that shit was forced on me by the universe, man. Like, like, yeah. So, weird episode, I know, but that's what I'm tripping on. That's what I'm talking about. You know, is what it is. For those of y'all that got homesick back in the 80s, what were some of your favorite songs that, you know, you listened to, or what were some of the songs that pulled the tears out of you, you know? And for those who are homesick now, do y'all even get homesick? With all this internet and all this accessibility and on demand shit, do y'all even get homesick? Put it in the comment. Let me know. Let's talk about it. I may do another episode on this. But until then, Hey now, hey now. It's like, nah. Ba-deep, 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 ba-deep. I'm out of here, folks. Peace. Yep. Tripping with Theo Bold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Tripping. Yep. Tripping. Tripping. Tripping with Theo Bold.
Tripping with Theo Bold.